Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today is Friday, October 17th, and today I'm going to be going over 4 player props for college football that you can use today. Feel free to pair them up however you like. Don't throw these all on one big 4-man play. Pick and choose what you like, leave the rest, fade the rest, or even pair them up with whatever you already have selected for yourself. So we're going to be using Pick Finder. For those of you that don't know, this is a website that uses analytics to kind of break down some past player data. It compiles all this information that you can use to make educated decisions as to whether or not a pick is favorable or not. Again, all of this is just data. It's not a for sure thing. Gambling is never a for sure guarantee, so make sure that you keep that in mind. So with that said, let's get right into our 4 player props. All right, guys, so first on the list, we have Javon Tracy to go over 2.5 receptions. So right off the bat, I like this line because he's hit this 80% out of his last 10 games. A couple things to note here. Nebraska is favored to win, and they're like a 75% win predictor. However, I do feel like because these two teams have very similar records, they're going to be keeping this game competitive. Nebraska's, I believe, 5-0, and Minnesota's like 4-2 or something like that. So I'm hoping this game stays competitive. If Minnesota is playing from behind, they're going to be throwing the ball quite more frequently. If we look at Javon Tracy's receiving yards, it's green beams all across the board. This is one of the popular picks on PrizePicks right now. It's even getting bumped up, so that's a good sign for us. He can't get those receiving yards without getting receptions, with the exception of this one where he got 1 reception and he went for like 45 yards. So we're hoping that's not the case. I mean, good for him if it is, but we're hoping for at least 2.5 receptions on this one. All right, guys, next up, I have Carson Beck to go over 224.5 passing yards. This is a goblin play on PrizePicks right now. His regular line has been getting bumped up, so I'm going to be taking a little bit of a discount just because it is, getting to a point where I don't want to take his regular line. I think it's at 245 right now or something like that. So, and which is something that he could totally do. I'm not saying he can't, but I'd much rather play it safe on this one, especially because if Miami is predicted to win or favored to win, I don't want him to win by a crazy big margin to where he no longer needs to be throwing the ball. So I'm going to be playing a little bit safer on this one. So 224.5 passing yards for Carson Beck. An alternative that you could also take is his pass touchdowns. This is one that I was very heavily considering. It's at 1.5 pass touchdowns. He got 4 on his last game, previously 0, and then 3, 2, and 2. So even though they're winning on a lot of these games, like the where he threw for 0 pass touchdowns, it's still a very solid performance on those games. However, I'm not too confident with the 2 passing touchdowns, because if they do win, they're going to win by any means necessary. As you could see on this previous game, they scored 26 without a passing touchdown. So that's why I'd much rather get the yardage on Carson Beck, but that's still a good alternative if you want to take it. Next up, I have Miller Moss to go over 256.5 passing yards. So this one's looking a little bit more favorable. If you take just his last 5 games, it's gone over 60% of the time, and it hasn't even been close. It's gone over by like over 50 yards on most cases. Even his last 10, same percentage, 60% of the time, and his last 15, he's gone over it 64% of the time. So he does go over pretty frequently. And because Miami is favored to win, I feel like if they're playing from behind, they're going to be more likely to throw the ball. This team already throws more consistently or more frequently as opposed to running. So they throw about 58% of the time that they have the ball, and only rush about 42% of the time. So I feel like because of this, and because they're playing, if they play from behind, he's going to be chucking the ball a lot more frequently and more likely to get those yards. This line did get bumped. It started off as low as 249, and right now it's at 256. So if you can get that line at 256, go ahead and take it. And finally, I'm taking Kyle Cunningham to go over 6.5 kicking points. This line is pretty self-explanatory. He's hit it 9 out of the last 10 games. This year, he's gotten a 100% hit rate. So with kicking points, there is a very high likelihood of them going over, just because college football has a lot of volume in scoring. So there's definitely times where I throw 6 mans of just kickers and I sweep just because of the volume. You just have to know what teams to look for. A lot of times they stay kicking the ball, like they stay scoring touchdowns. Like this last game, they had 4 touchdowns and 2 field goals. So the likelihood of this hitting is very good. Even if, for example, if he gets 2 field goals and 1 point after attempt, that already clears our line. Or if they go more on the touchdown heavy side, they get 4 touchdowns and 1 field goal. Like we're already in the money. So I'm liking this line because of the high volume to these games. Alright guys, so there on the screen is the 4-man play that I threw using these props. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, don't feel like you have to throw these all together. You can mix and match, take and fade what you feel comfortable with. I feel like this was a safe enough play to throw on a 4-man. I just put $10 on it. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to be doing a $10 Road to Glory challenge where I take a $10 slip and turn it into $10,000 by rolling over the winnings of the previous day's slip. So for example, if I was to use this play right here and it cashes for $75, I would use those $75 on the next slip for the day. And then compounding that winning until I hit those $10,000. If I do that, ideally we would cash the $10,000 by day 4 or 5, depending on what multiplier we use. But on that challenge, if you want to follow along, that's going to be transitioning over to the shorts. So keep an eye out for that. Aside from that, hope you guys have a good rest of your day and a profitable weekend. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see any different sports or if you tailed or anything like that. But have a good day, guys.